What's up guys, Ruppy here, bringing you another Wi-Fi battle just to kind of fill the gap for a little void in uploads. Now, before I actually get into the details of this one, I have to preface this with a rant, and I apologize in advance for this, but this needs to be said. So, this battle was against a very good friend of mine by the name of Eco. I will get more into details regarding that in a moment. But beyond what you're seeing now, which is just a capture you're seeing just so I have something to fill visually for this part of the video, the footage you are going to see for this battle is actually from his side of things. He actually was recording it himself because he's working on getting his own YouTube channel up and running, and I will leave a link to that down in the description below. I was recording this as well so I could have a second battle to upload for this. And while we were in the middle of the battle, my computer completely locked up, and I lost it. My commentary was gone. My video, what I did have of it was corrupted, so it was unusable. And why did my computer freeze? Because of Windows 10. That's the only humanly possible thing I could think of, because my hard drive is pretty much cleaned out. I've transferred just about everything I can over to an external hard drive just to free up a ton of space. There's practically nothing on this hard drive anymore. There are no viruses. I have virus protection software, and I have been scanning frequently, so there are no viruses there, and not that I'm visiting any sites that would warrant any sort of virus or malware or whatever worming its way into my system. The only thing that lines up consistently is the fact that, well, Windows 10 has been freezing my computer frequently. Never to the point where it forces me to have to reboot my entire computer. Well, that's actually happened, but not as frequently. Normally it's these smaller freezes where it's just for a moment and then I get everything back. But this is a problem. It's a problem I cannot fix. I have done everything I can think of to try to fix it. As I've said, my hard drive is pretty much cleaned out at this point. I have all my drivers up to date. I have done just about everything I could find to fix this, and it is not fixable. Microsoft, get your shit together. I should not be running into this. I should not have to consider the last resort nuke option of completely restore my system from scratch, all just to hope and pray that your OS actually fucking works. It should never have to come to that. And that's not a fix that should even affect the operating system. I don't know what updates you are pushing out for this thing, but whatever they are, you need to fix the holes you keep punching in this thing, because I am getting tired. I should not have to consider switching to one of my laptops, which are far less powerful than my desktop computer I do all this on, just so I am not using Windows 10 to know I will be able to use whatever I'm doing in a stable fashion. I shouldn't have to consider that at all. People thought Vista and 8 and some of the other ones were bad. I would actually go as far as to say Windows 10 may actually be the worst OS that Microsoft has ever released, because at least none of the other ones that people rag on ever kept freezing / crashing my computer. I apologize for that. You guys really shouldn't have to see that side of me. I'm just getting very fed up with this because it is actually starting to cut into things that I'm trying to do. Whether it's YouTube or just something I'm doing on my free time or something I have to do, I shouldn't have to have these issues because of something that is not even my fault to begin with, or something that I can't even fix. Anyway, getting back on topic now that I've got that out of my system. As I said, this is a battle we're doing with a good friend of mine, Eco. I am using the same Pride team that I used in my last video. And the Pride theme actually means something more to Eco, because he is part of LGBTQ. So it certainly means a lot to him. So he and I getting to do this battle is actually really nice, especially before Pride Month is all wrapped up, which is why I wanted to get this video out. Even though it is cutting into the days where I normally would upload an episode of the Anti-Dynamax Nuzlocke, I'm intending to still try to get that up, though, do a 2-video in 1 day kind of scenario for that reason. We did play this using the land play timer as opposed to the 20-minute timer like I did with Panda. And as I said, the footage you're going to see is from his side because of my issues that I just went on a rant about. So, it is going to be done post-com because of this. It's going to be sped up a little bit. I'm going to put music over it. I'm going to post-com it. And we're going to go from there. I thank you to Eco for both doing the battle with me as well as sharing his footage with me in the face of this mess. As I said, I'll leave a link to his channel down in the description below. Be sure to go check him out. You can check out his side. Well, it'd be the same footage, but with his commentary in this particular scenario. Even still, I hope you guys enjoy nonetheless. And we will be right back briefly when the battle starts. Alright, we are in the battle now. Again, this is from Eco's side of things. So, what you're seeing right now is his team, all the items I did not know he had before. My team is off to the side there, as I said before. I'm using my Pride theme team, which is all my Pokemon are in love balls. Their colors are the colors of the LGBT Pride flag. He put together his own Pride theme team. I did a little bit of research on the nicknames just to make sure I had it all. So, LA Devotee for his Toxtricity is a Panic at the Disco song. The bottom 2 mons, I would prefer not to say those. They are gay slang, and most people, I believe, that are not in that community use them as derogatory terms, which is why I'm hesitant to say it. Shea Coulee, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, is a drag queen. Vers is gay slang for men who have no position preference in their sexual relationships. I believe the only nickname that doesn't fully fit with it is Audrey, which is the nickname for Ferrothorn. Though then again, considering I think Audrey's a female name, and the plant from Little Shop of Horrors that was named Audrey, I believe, was a male, I guess that does kind of apply when you really think about it. Anyway, getting into the battle, we are doing it in Bologna Stadium, which makes a lot of sense for this little theme clash we're doing. I'm going to lead with Rotom Wash as he leads with Cinderace. So, he's going to decide to U-turn right out of the gate because this is a Libero Cinderace, and from my own personal experience using this thing and facing it in trying to dabble with the OU tier, Libero Cinderace is more of a pain than I think people gave it credit for. Oh, it's not going to be as bad as Greninja with Protean. No, it's actually kind of worse, honestly. Anyway, he U-turns out into Ferrothorn, and I proceed to Volt Switch out because I was half expecting that. And after we are done with the communicating, because I was contemplating what I wanted to do with this, but I decided to make the fairly obvious-ish switch in and go into Ninetales because it threatens this Ferrothorn out for sure. And knowing that he's going to switch, I'm going to end up setting up a nasty... no, actually, I hold off on the nasty plot because I didn't want to put myself in a position where I set up the nasty plot, then he sends in something that's just going to outspeed and kill me anyway, like, say, Dragapult. We all saw how well that worked out when I played Panda in the last game I used this team in. So he ends up sending in Mandibuzz, as I try to go for Scorching Sands, predicting the switch into anything else, really. And unfortunately, Scorching Sands does not work, so I still do not get to show off the fun little Scorching Sands tech I put on this Ninetales, or at least officially show it off, which is kind of sad. So anyway, this is, I believe, yeah, this is where I decide to nasty plot up if he's got this Mandibuzz in, because I feel he's either just going to knock off or Toxic, or, which he does indeed Toxic. And Ninetales is just going to be Toxic, which is not fun at all, but it is what it is. But at this point, I feel I'm free to pretty much fire off a Fire Blast and take a huge chunk out of something, preferably Mandibuzz, because obviously it's sitting in here and being a bulky, defensive pain in the neck. But Eco is contemplating what he wants to do here. I think he realizes that Mandibuzz is probably in the crosshairs of a Fire Blast and certainly does not want to take one. So he's probably trying to figure out what his best switch-in is, and he ultimately decides to send in Dragapult. This matchup seems oddly familiar. Thank you to Panda for my last game for that little sense of deja vu. Except Ninetales is able to fire off a Fire Blast this time and actually get damage off on Dragapult. And it does over half, too, on a resisted hit, which is crazy to me. I know Ninetales is +2, and Dragapult is kind of on the frailer side, because it's meant to be a fast powerhouse. But even still, that's a resisted Fire Blast. So, again, because of the deja vu scenario for me, I know what's coming, and I switch Ninetales right on out of there. I go into Virizion, which is the mon that I think has my best special bulk, to take this incoming Draco that I had a feeling was coming. His Dragapult's going to go to -2, and he's definitely going to want to get out of here, and knowing this, I'm going to go ahead and set up a Swords Dance with Virizion, as he proceeds to switch into Mandibuzz. Now, as you might recall from when I explained this team before my previous battle with Panda, I do not have Stone Edge on this Virizion. I actually have Zen Headbutt because I thought I dealt well enough with flying types that I didn't need Stone Edge. Ego doesn't know that, however, so he's wondering if I'm going to fire off a Stone Edge. Obviously, I ran the risk of him potentially having Brave Bird on this Mandibuzz, though since I have his footage for this, I can see clear as day that he does not. So he's trying to contemplate his best switch into a Stone Edge, and he decides, and I understand why, Ferrothorn is going to be the mon that comes in. However, I actually decided to click Close Combat because it's my best neutral play for doing neutral damage on Mandibuzz, since obviously the flying type resist is offset by the dark type weakness. But as Ferrothorn comes in, it works out because I get to smash that thing with a +2 Close Combat and straight up kill it. The downside is I take a lot of damage from my own Life Orb as well as Iron Barbs, and there's also the fact that I'm now at negative defenses, which basically means Virizion is prime food for Cinderace at this point. And I really don't see any real advantage into keeping Virizion around because it has taken so much damage already. So I decide to let Virizion go down, figuring if he U-turns out for the kill, then I at least get switch initiative out of the deal. Which I believe is in fact what happens. Yeah, he does just go for the Libero U-turn. Virizion is going to go down, and I do get switch initiative out of it. And I actually believe this is the part of the battle where my capture decided it wanted to die on me because of the aforementioned rant I went on before this battle actually began, or at least this part of the video, where my laptop completely locked up because Windows 10 is the dumbest OS that has ever existed. Microsoft, please, for the love of God, fix this shit. Anyway, with us in the position we're in, he goes ahead and sends in Toxtricity, and I'm going to counter by sending out Hydreigon. Now, I should have seen that this was Specs Toxtricity, because for the most part, what kind of set does Toxtricity ever even run otherwise? But I know Hydreigon outspeeds it, and I can punch a giant hole in something. I decided to take a gamble, however, as he switches out into Mandibuzz. I proceed to set up a nasty plot. I was kind of actually banking on living the hit, even though obviously a Specs Boom Burst is still going to do a ton because of the Punk Rock boost. But I took the gamble, I got the nasty plot, and it is going to pay off because I am going to be able to fire off this Draco of my own, and that is the end of poor Mandibuzz here. My special attack's going to drop by 2, which puts me back at neutral, and I feel Hydreigon is good to pretty much take on whatever he sends out. But of course, Cinderace comes out, because of course it does. Libero Cinderace. This thing is definitely going to be a pain in the OU meta, I will say that much. So, I stay in figuring I can actually live a U-turn and be able to hit something else on the switch. But, of course, I completely forget that high jump kick is a thing, and I end up losing Hydreigon because of it. Lost my dragon for no real reason. Sounds about right. But with this scenario now, I spent some time trying to contemplate what I want to do before ultimately settling on Ninetales, because I figure Ninetales probably has enough natural bulk that I can take any hit he wants to throw at me, maybe threaten it out. So he's going to proceed to U-turn out again. Libero U-turn still does way too much for my liking, even on a resisted hit to Ninetales. He's going to end up sending out, he thinks about it for a moment, but he's going to end up ultimately bringing in Dragapult. Because Mandibuzz is gone, I am free to fire off a Scorching Sands at this point, which is exactly what I decided to do. Finally get to show this off. It doesn't kill, unfortunately, but I do get the burn, which is nice. In case, I guess it worked for chip damage in this scenario. When I actually did the battle, I was contemplating maybe this is a mixed Dragapult, which, let's be honest, outside of U-turn 3 special attacks, what actually defines a mixed Dragapult? This is obviously not the case as well because I can see his set. This is a Scarf Dragapult, and we're going to do this song and dance again from the battle with Panda. Ninetales is going to die because it's going to get a Draco dropped right on its head. Poor Ninetales. Dragapult also doesn't die from the burn, which may be sad. So now I'm contemplating how I want to play this, and I believe ultimately I'm trying to figure out what actually is able to potentially take a hit from this thing, because I could have sent out Gengar because it was Scarf, but I didn't realize that his Dragapult was also Scarfed. Ultimately, I decided it wasn't worth the risk because he was just going to switch out anyway, assuming he wasn't Scarf, which I know now he is. I send out Rotom, though. He's going to end up going into switching out into Toxtricity to preserve Dragapult a little longer, as I just Volt Switch out, just aiming for the move I know is going to hit, which is going to get the kill off on Toxtricity, or on Dragapult. Anyway, I Volt Switch out, as I said. I send in Scissor, and this is where I make a completely dumb play. I don't go for Bullet Punch, even though it would have been resisted anyway. I think I decided to go for Knockoff, and I end up losing Scissor to an Overdrive because Specs Toxtricity just destroys everything. So, seeing this, now I decide to go into Gengar, figuring I'm Scarf, I can outspeed it, I can just fire off the Shadow Ball and maybe kill it. No, I do not get the kill, unfortunately, and I'm going to lose Gengar to an Overdrive as well. But not before Curse Body gets rid of Overdrive, so at least Gengar left me with that little gift on its way out the door. So Rotom Wash is all I have left against 4 Pokemon. This snowballed in a hurry. I am going to decide to just go ahead and Volt Switch, though it is going to be enough to get the kill on Toxtricity, because again, it's the surefire hit, so I know it's not going to miss. And I'm free to basically at least give myself a little more hope, I suppose. Dragapult is almost dead, which is good news. I'm pretty sure I can take on Cinderace well enough and just blow it into oblivion with a Hydro Pump. The only real potential issue is the one he thinks about it for a sec, but it's the one he ultimately does send in. It's Azumarill, which is a Belly Drum set, but he's not going to risk the Belly Drum because of me having Volt Switch. I decided to Will-O-Wisp first to give myself a better chance of somehow trying to pull this back because a burned Azumarill is much better to deal with. But Rotom's taken quite a bit of prior damage from that Cinderace Libero U-turn at the start of the game. So despite me trying to set myself up for success here, I am ultimately fighting a losing battle because I'm going to Volt Switch. It's going to pop Azu's Citrus Berry. Azu is just going to respond by just constantly play roughing over and over and over again. And unfortunately, that Citrus Berry pulled it out of a range where I would have been able to kill with this next Volt Switch. Not that it would have mattered, because Cinderace would have outsped and just killed me with literally anything with it when if it came in. But Azu is going to live. It's going to kill me with Play Rough, and that's going to be the battle. So, GG Eco. That was a fun battle all around, and given the theme we were going with, you certainly deserve the win more than I did in this scenario. So, congrats to you. And for what is left of it, I wish you guys all a happy Pride Month again. Please go check Eco out. That's going to be all for this battle. I have been RuppDat, /Ruppy, however you want to refer to me. Thank you guys so very much for watching, even if this wasn't how I intended to do this video. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.